Hey, what's up? Kris Krohn here. Meet Kevin just put out a video of reasons why people shouldn't invest in real estate, which seemed super odd to me because Kevin's channel is all about putting content out there about real estate. By the way, a couple years ago, Kevin did a nice piece on me on Kris Krohn Exposed, but don't worry, we've made up. Today the gloves come off, however, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think of this video. Hey guys, today I'm gonna be watching a video and reacting to Meet Kevin talking about forget it, why you should never buy real estate. And I have a history with Kevin. I actually know Kevin. Kevin made a video about me once upon a time. We met in person once at my home when he was here in Utah. And I'm kind of interested in this video because I wanna know Kevin's philosophy and mindset on who should do real estate and who shouldn't.
It's all of these things where you're thinking about selling in the short term to try to lock in a profit or maximize, that oftentimes if you're going in with the intention of timing that, you can get slapped in real estate pretty quickly. Now don't get me wrong, you can get slapped pretty quickly in stocks too. But real estate is one of those that usually you could really think about buying something and...
So he's using some really interesting marketing tactics here because he's trying to say, don't invest in real estate, it's a mistake, you're gonna get hurt. But there's a little bit of reverse psychology there. He's giving you some really good advice. You know, this first piece of advice is really smart. Don't try to time the market. I would agree to that when it comes to like the stock market, but actually in real estate, it's super easy to time the market. It's actually not hard. It moves real slow.
Trust me, I know it. It's kind of speaking from my own experience. It's speaking from clients' experience. What happens is when you buy, you get motivated to make it yours. And making real estate yours is expensive. It's one thing if you're going to go through.
He's bringing up another great point. I agree. If you're buying an investment property and you're not supposed to treat it like it's a place you're going to live in. You don't want to fix it up excessively. And that's exactly what he's talking about here. He's really smart. You spend a lot of money remodeling things that don't need to be remodeled because you're trying to do it for you. You're projecting your needs, your desires, your want. Reality is you should only fix up a property to whatever is normal for the rentals in that area.
You're putting in cost-effective things that aren't cutting corners. You're putting things that are cost-effective and that are going to make you money long run.
It's really good advice.
So let's talk about reason number 3. So reason number 3, and this is actually something that Lauren and I are experiencing right now. Reason number 3 not to buy a house is you wanting something bigger. So you want something to, just because you want it. It's not really going to be an investment, right? So let's take a look around here. Let's go see who's done like a big addition or something to a house. And we'll lock this place up in a second. See, this house is beautiful. These people spend a lot of money, and this is like their forever home, right? Beautiful house, gorgeous construction, addition, everything's upgraded, the roof, the dual pane windows. I mean, great neighbor to have, honestly. Great people. Nice people too, love them. The flagpole, everything. But that's an example where, look, once you're 50, 60 and you want to settle down, you want to do that, fine, spend the money at that point. But does it make sense to take, a 1950s, 1960s property and spend all of that money when you're trying to build your wealth in your youth? If you're under 40 years old and you have less than a $2-3 million net worth, why are you going to spend all this money over improving real estate? Do that when you can enjoy it, not while you're at work grinding all the time. So
it's really good common sense advice. Don't spend more money than you have. Don't invest money. Don't spend your seed that should be going into your investments and making you money on just consuming it, right? I'm eating my seed. I'm enjoying a nicer house now, nicer cars, nicer lifestyle. This is smart. So Kevin actually brings up something really interesting here. He says that, listen, if you want a much nicer lifestyle, don't drop millions of dollars actually having that lifestyle. Instead, go rent or lease something that is nicer, that's rent ready, so that instead of dropping all of your money in that property, you can go and invest it. Again, it's actually really sound advice. This is exactly what people should be doing. Kevin's getting a lot of views on his channel these days. And right now, at least as far as I can see from watching this video, he's got really solid sound advice. I always tell people that the time to pay something off is, first of all, after you've put all the money out there that you can, allowing your investments to grow. People get stuck in this Dave Ramsey mindset of pay stuff off, pay stuff off, pay stuff off. And what they keep doing is they keep eliminating their seed that they need to plant and actually grow and create more investments. There's a flywheel that you're trying to get to speed up, which means I saved all my pennies and I bought this thing, this house, and then 5 years later, I sold it and I had enough money to buy 2. And then 5 years later, I sold it and I had enough to buy 4. And in time, 4 becomes 8 and 8 becomes 16. And then if you can break the geometric cycle and make it exponential, like in 4 years, how I went from 1 home to 2 homes to 12 homes to 24 homes to 100 homes to 1,000 homes, that's when you're gonna actually, frankly, really strike it big. I got addicted to investment as opposed to having a nicer lifestyle. My first 5 years of serious investing, I didn't buy anything nice for myself. It was all going towards investment, and that's really what I hear Kevin saying. It's good advice.
Number 4 is if you're going to wait to buy until you settle down, honestly, there's a chance you might be better off renting.
Wait, don't buy real estate?
A lot of these relate to each other, but a lot of people...
It's the title of this video. This is a little strange, actually suggesting that people don't actually buy and maybe just rent.
This year we're doing the kitchen, then we're doing the backyard, then we're doing the master bath, then we're gonna do an addition. And all of a sudden, like every year, they literally blow all of the money they should be investing on improvements.
Kevin, does everybody do that? Is that what everyone is doing? I don't know the people that you're meeting, but man, that's a small subset of people that are out there.
I'm not gonna rent this property. You see how much money we spent? A tenant's just gonna ruin it. If that's going to be you, just be real about it. It's okay. If you're going to wait until you settle down, maybe
I disagree. I actually think that everyone should take every opportunity to own real estate as long as you do it in a really balanced fashion.
The easiest way to get experience is wait.
I'm trying to figure out why Kevin is trying so hard to tell people not to buy real estate.
But you could buy it with 3.5% down. In many parts of the country, you could buy a house for...
He's definitely warning people from being idiots.
Great way to start. Then you could get your hands...
But I'm just not sure why he's not actually promoting more buy real estate. I think the problem I'm having with what I'm watching right now is that I really hear Kevin the realtor. I'm not really hearing Kevin the investor. I'm hearing Kevin talk about like when you should buy really nice things and maybe when you shouldn't. And what it does is it panders to this notion of retirement. And I get it. Society has this idea. Here's your working years. Here's your retired years. For me, I don't really think in those terms. I think that whether you're watching this video and you're 60 years old, it's not too late for you. If you're 70 years old, it's not too late. Modern medicine is keeping us alive a really long time. I actually think that everyone should always be in the game of real estate. If you can do it as an 18-year-old, you can co-sign with the parent as a 15-year-old, you should be in the game. Whether you're 20, 30, 50, or 80, you should be asking yourself, because if you do real estate the right way, it's very, very difficult to lose. You do real estate for a handful of few short years, there's gains to be making. For me, where I am agreeing with Kevin is, yeah, you've got to be investing your money. But all this nonsense of maybe whether you should rent and whatnot, I'm like, listen, buy property, buy smart, buy intelligent, make it a part of your game plan. Every home you live in should be an investment. You should be thinking, how will this home down the road make me money? Even if I'm not planning on renting it out, how is this actually a part of the strategy? Here he is talking about being a realtor again. I'm not really liking the fact that he keeps using the word investor like I'm trying to give investment advice, but frankly, he's really just talking as a realtor. Again, I would love for Kevin to actually say, dude, if you're actually an investor, how many properties have you bought? Like how extensive, or have you dabbled a little bit and now you're an investor? There's people, guys, that are out there that put on this show and they love to claim authority by claiming that they have all of these, they have all this experience. I'm just not sure, because I've been watching Kevin for a long time and he's been pretty thoroughly through and through. He's been the realtor. He deals in real estate. I see realtors do that all the time. I'm an investor. Are you an investor? Show me your portfolio. Show you what that looks like. Guys, I'm not a realtor. I've never held my license. I just got to pause here for a second because I have a little bit of history with Kevin. And my history tells me that Kevin does not always do his research. He made a video about me a couple of years ago. It's back when he was ripping on Grant Cardone and Dave Ramsey, and he wasn't being fair. He was just nailing people, but without necessarily putting out a lot of good information, wasn't clearly doing his research. I got in touch with him and I said, dude, what are you doing? Like, have you actually taken the time to research and understand some basic things? Because you're saying some really asinine things. he actually felt horrible about it. Actually, Grant Cardone reached out and threatened to sue him, and he started backing down hardcore on his channel. He actually, last time he was out in Utah, he made it a point to meet with me at my house, and he apologized. He apologized for his approach. He apologized for having not really done his research. Didn't really maybe realize that when you don't do all your research, that I'm a real person, there's real people out there, and you're hurting people. That doesn't mean that I don't say things about other people that maybe aren't nice. I'm just saying that I'm gonna put my disclaimers, my qualifiers, and I'm going to do my research. I'm usually talking about the words coming out of people's mouth and the context that they put them in. You know, Kevin right here, he's driving by and getting, irate and upset because someone is actually fixing their driveway because he's making assumptions again. Oh my gosh, they're putting all this money into that property and that's a bad thing. He doesn't know the circumstance. He doesn't know who owns that home. He doesn't know why they're doing it. He doesn't understand if there's a belly in the sewer line and they have to fix the house so that the poop doesn't come up in the house. He doesn't know these things. So that's kind of my experience of Kevin, is that he's highly reactionary, and instead of actually finding out all the details, he reacts hardcore.
You can double your wealth, or you could create that first $100,000 to $200,000 of wealth way faster in real estate than you can with stocks. Because with 10%,
totally true. I totally agree with him.
percent down, 10%, whatever, right? With $10,000 to $20,000, you could generate $100,000 worth of wealth relatively easily. But again, if you're not interested in doing the work that's involved in that, then it's not for you. The reason you can make, well, the other reason you can make more money in real estate compared to stocks when you have little is because it takes work, right? The people who have net worths of $5 million plus, they're not busting their balls doing this basic kind of stuff. Oh, let's pick out carpet for the single family rental. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's not a useful use of...
This is interesting. Again, Kevin's making some super strong assumptions. Basically, you can't acquire a $5 million net worth on single family real estate. Are you a subscriber to my channel? Buddy, it's called systems, right? I've got a team of 200 experts and we're doing thousands of deals. You absolutely can. A little bit black and white here in his world. Again, I think he's really tackling life from a very kind of a realtor perspective, and Kevin's got this kind of tunnel vision for this idea that you should be doing certain things the way he thinks you should with money, and anything outside of that isn't good. And I try to avoid getting advice from people that have super limited, super narrow perspectives. I think it's a lot more fair to say, hey, let's take everything into account and then figure out, let's qualify who might that be right for, but don't forget all the other people that it's not right for.
So that's the next reason, right? If you're in that mentality of, well, I'm just gonna wait until I settle down, I don't know if real estate's going to be for you. Now, this isn't to say that you can't start real estate late, but realize the best way to start in real estate, is to start in the trenches. So when you start, the bank just got cash. Let's go get some cash at the bank. Armored truck just left. The best way to really build the wealth in real estate is by starting with that fixer-upper, right? Whether it's units, whether it's a duplex, triplex, fourplex, or whatever.
Why are you saying that? Why are you encouraging people to do a fixer-upper as the best way to start making wealth in real estate? That's where people make mistakes, man.
If you are the kind of person, and this is
all
okay
right,
too,
we're on number
again,
5
you just gotta
right
be
now.
aware of it, who does not like keeping an emergency fund, real estate is risky. You should have at least an emergency.
This is just common sense, Kevin.
Every property that you own, and at least 5 to 10K in the bank for every unit that you own. If you got, multifamily, that could be a little less. It could be like 3 to 4, maybe 5K per door. But you got a single family, probably 8 to 10K is a reasonable emergency.
Kevin's basically saying real estate's not for you if you're not willing to actually set some money aside in savings. I'm like, yeah, it's a business. You do need to make sure you have reserves in the bank. I mean, I think what Kevin's doing here is he's really trying to talk to people that aren't trying to really go after real estate as a smart investor, people that maybe don't really know what they're doing. He's covering some great basics here. Don't buy more than you can, than you have maybe money for. Investing is smarter than just blowing in on, more lifestyle and more stuff. You should be a good saver. You should have an emergency fund. But the weird thing is he's given this basic advice and says, if you're not willing to follow that advice, then never buy real estate. It's not for you. It's true. It's good.
Just rent. That's much better for you. So there you have 6 reasons you should remain a tenant from a real estate broker. And I think these are very legitimate reasons. Let me know if you...
There he finally said it. The 6 reasons to stay renting from a real estate broker, not an investor. And honestly, I actually don't think that people should be told you shouldn't get in the game of real estate. You should just stay a tenant. Almost feels like it's more qualifying, like, hey, if you want me to be a realtor, I'm looking for people that have money and want to buy multiple properties over time and buy smart. Dude, what realtor wouldn't want to look for that? You should all be thinking, how do I invest? How do I get started? How do I be smart? You shouldn't be told you shouldn't do that if you can't do this. It's teach me. Here's what you need to know. Here's what you should do so that you can buy real estate. You should be good at savings. You should have reserves, and you should have a goal of getting into property, and you should live within your means, right? Those are the things that are actually going to make people's lives better. Kevin's a realtor in the California market. And so real estate is super expensive, and realtors definitely don't want to waste their time with the wrong people. I do think he's genuinely trying to put content out there that he thinks is useful. And there's certainly a lot of really great advice in what Kevin is putting out there. What I like about Meet Kevin's content is Kevin is genuinely creating content that is designed to help people make more informed, better decisions in the game of real estate. And I think there's a lot of valuable education. There's tutorial, there's training, and he's producing a lot of content. I think that's useful because there's a ton of people clearly that are watching his videos. They're gaining value from it. And I think that that's really useful. On the other hand, Kevin is, I think, first and foremost, a realtor. And realtors and investors are really 2 very different groups of people. For example, investing in California, there's very few investors that actually know how to do that game. It's a lot of old money. It's a lot of rich people that are buying real estate, often low cap rates, low returns. Real investors generally leave the state of California where they can get their hands on far juicier deals like what I do. And so I think Kevin's got a heavy realtor spin on his experience and what he's sharing with people. And I think that he needs to do a better job portraying himself of what is investor advice versus what is useful realtor advice. Because at the end of the day, realtors, investors, they're not even close to the same. They're entirely different people. A realtor gets paid money to represent and find houses for people to live in. They earn a commission for doing that. And by the way, some of the very successful ones can make crazy amounts of money with that. But investors are actually putting their money to work, should be relatively passive, and they're earning returns on that real estate. Investors work with realtors, but they're usually 2 very different kinds of people, and they rarely meet in the middle. So who should actually invest in real estate? Kevin is throwing out a lot of disqualifiers. If you can't do this and this and this and this, then you shouldn't. There's validity to that. I think I take a little bit of a different stance that says, you know what? Most people on their own are never going to learn how to get the benefit of real estate unless they get some mentorship, until they get some coaching, until they really get some hands-on help. So my stance has always been, let's educate, train, and then show you how to do it. And I will allow people to do it on their own that make really small investments into themselves to learn and grow. Once people get really committed and serious, I think it's easy enough to make mistakes in real estate that I actually provide services to hop in and do it for them, do it with them, or partner with them. And that way people have a variety. Some people, Kevin's right, they shouldn't even be involved in the game because they're either lacking the discipline or they don't have the time or they don't have the financial resource. But there's other people that do have the time or they do have the resource, but they're missing direction, they're missing training. And I love providing that for people. I love believing in people. And I'm fortunate over the years to have helped literally over 1,000 people invest in real estate that would have never done it otherwise. They would never have bought homes. They would have never made it happen because they're just not comfortable enough. A house is like the biggest commodity you or I will likely ever buy in our life. We're not buying jets. We're not buying big commercial glass skyscrapers. We're not Donald Trump. A home is something that most people have a goal of owning. And if you can do it right, then why not 10? Why not 20? Why not 100? But to do that, you do need some coaching, training, and hand-holding. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you are hunting down the game of real estate, if you're working on doing a deal, or if you need some help understanding maybe some of the difficult principles, maybe you're ready to jump in right now or you want access to some of the very best deals, I'm leaving my cell phone number below so that you can actually text, reach out, let's connect. Let me actually share some of the value, some of the deals that I'm doing, or in the least, answer your questions. And I hope that's a way that I can help create value to further your journey of real estate. Well, listen, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I honestly wondered if I was gonna have a lot more polarizing ideas regarding Kevin. And you know what? They weren't really there. But if you were hoping to see literally a fight go down, you're gonna wanna check out this video over here because what Dave Ramsey is going down.